When you're afraid, even if you're entering territory that you've chosen to move into, a part of you is determined to avoid going forward. Fear slows you down and makes you hesitant and careful, which can be beneficial to you. But sometimes your fears are based on your imagination rather than an accurate assessment of the risks in your reality. If your fear is big enough, even if you're also excited to go forward, the part of you that wants to keep you safe can successfully prevent you from going forward into territory that's both desirable and safe. To get motivated, you need to deal with your fear. Start by naming your fears so that they're out in the open. Remember to say a gentle thank you to your fears. They're trying to protect you after all. Then question your fears. Why am I afraid of this happening? What are the chances that would really happen? Some of your fears will just slip away now. To get motivated, you need to deal with your fear. Look at the fears that are left. What are they telling you about the research you need to do, the gaps you need to fill, and the risk management strategies you need to put in place? Honor that wisdom by building it into your plan. Finally, consider breaking down the changes into smaller steps and focusing on just the next few small steps. This will calm your fears. We have an essential self and social self. Your essential self is the part of you that's spontaneous and creative and playful, the part that knows what's most important to you. Your social self is the part of you that has been developing since the day you were born, learning the rules of the tribe and working hard to make sure that you're safe by making you follow the rules. We're all surrounded by so many messages that feed into our social selves, and we're keen to impress our tribes. When you feel unmotivated, it's because you're setting goals based purely on what your social self wants, and this is pulling you away from the direction your essential self wants you to take. Your essential self uses demotivation to slow you down and to detach you from the toxic goals you've set. Notice how your body responds as you think of each of the goals you're trying to work on. Take some time to review your goals. Since your essential self is nonverbal, you can easily assess your essential self through your body. Notice how your body responds as you think of each of the goals you're trying to work on. When you haven't consciously and clearly articulated what you want, your picture of your future will be vague. We like what's familiar, so we resist what's unfamiliar and vague, and we stay with and recreate what's familiar to us. If you're not clear about what to create, then it makes sense that you'll lack motivation, because you'd rather stay with your current familiar reality. If you want to create something different from what you've been experiencing, it's not enough to just know what you don't want. You need to know what you do want, and you need to articulate a clear and specific vision of what you want to create, so that you can become familiar with that new outcome and feel comfortable moving toward it. Take some time to articulate what you want and why you want it. Your values are what's important in life. If you have a values conflict, it means that there are two or more values that are important to you, but you believe that you can't justify all of those values in a particular situation. This situation causes you to feel conflicted and pulled in different directions as you try to find ways to get what's important to you. You might have a brief spurt of motivation to work on something and then lose motivation and start working on something else. Or your motivation might dry up altogether because the effort of dealing with internal conflict quickly tires you out and saps your energy. At the beginning of any change, we go through a phase of wondering if we should or could hang on to the way things were, and grieving what we'll be losing if we make significant changes. Confusion, self-doubt, mistrust of the world around us, and feeling lost are common symptoms, and the bigger the change, the more powerful these symptoms. Sometimes we even go through a bit of depression and social withdrawal. With all the grieving and fearing and feeling lost that go on in this phase, it's normal for your motivation to dry up. If you've just experienced a trauma or loss, or you're going through a major change and finding that there are days when you're hit hard with death and rebirth symptoms, don't try to make yourself motivated and proactive. You can't rush grieving or the undoing of your old life and ways of thinking. You can't skip the death and rebirth phase and just go straight into dreaming and scheming. Take it one day at a time and go easy on yourself. You need to give yourself a lot of space for nurturing and reflection. Look after your body with good food, rest, and exercise. Express your grief, confusion, and fears with people who listen lovingly. Spend time in nature and with calm, loving people to center yourself. Accept every feeling and thought you have. They're all normal and safe. Take one day at a time and go easy on yourself. Confusion, forgetfulness, and clumsiness are all normal in this stage. This grieving will end when it's ready, and if you relax into it and express your grief, it'll be sooner rather than later. Your end goal might be nice and clear, but if you haven't taken time to chunk it down into smaller goals, you'll get stuck, confused, and unmotivated. When it's time to take action, some projects are smaller and familiar enough that they don't need a plan. But if you're often worrying that you won't know what to do next, and you don't have a clear plan, then this might be the source of your demotivation. Motivation is central to creativity, productivity, and happiness. Motivation is what causes us to act, and when we act, we create movement, growth, and change. We feel involved, masterful, and significant. We feel powerful through experiencing how we can change the world, and we create more of what we love in our lives. And all of this gives our lives purpose and happiness. Most of us have just one conception of demotivation, which means that whenever you're unmotivated, you're likely to assume you're struggling with the same problem. The truth, demotivation is a category of problems, containing many variations. When you have just one kind of demotivation, you'll apply the same old strategies whenever you feel unmotivated. For many people, those strategies look like this: set goals, push harder, create accountability checks that will push you, and run your life using to-do lists. These strategies are ineffective with most types of demotivation, and in some instances, they can even make you more unmotivated. At its essence, demotivation is about not fully committing to act, and there are many reasons why you might be in that position. Having more ways to categorize your demotivation will help you identify the real reasons for your unwillingness to move forward. Then you can pick the right tools and strategies to help you get motivated again. When it comes to dealing with challenges, there's a sweet spot. Too great a challenge and the fear becomes too great and saps our motivation. And if the challenge is too small, we quickly get bored and struggle to stay motivated. We're designed to be living, growing creatures, and we need constant challenges and opportunities to master new skills. Without challenges, our essential self steps in and demotivates us as a way of telling us that we've departed from the path that's right for us. If the challenge is too small, we quickly get bored and struggle to stay motivated. Review your goals and the projects you're working on. Are they challenging you? Are they going to require you to grow in order to achieve them? Or are you treading water in your comfort zone, only doing the things you know you can do? Try tweaking your goals to make them a bit more challenging. Take on projects that will require you to grow, and find a new thing or two to learn to stimulate yourself. When we lack motivation, we're probably associating the action we're talking about with pain rather than pleasure. It is a part of human nature that there will be times that, in spite of all that we need to do, and even the desire to, we will find ourselves not wanting to do anything. What separates those who become successful from those who maintain the status quo? The ability to find their inner motivation at those crucial moments. Motivation that will enable us to conquer our complacency and move on in action. Where there's no will, there's no way. One of the best ways to improve your personal effectiveness is to master your motivation and find your drive. If you can master motivation, you can deal with life's setbacks, as well as inspire yourself to always find a way forward, and create new experiences for yourself and follow your growth. Sometimes you need to change your focus. To change your focus, change the question. If you ask yourself what's wrong with this situation, of course you'll find things to complain about. Ask yourself what's right about the situation, and you can quickly find the positives and get your groove on. Spending too much time in your weaknesses wears you down. Spending more time in your strengths helps you renew your energy and find your flow. Strengths are the place where you can grow your best. Find the things that you do all day that you really enjoy, and find excuses throughout your day to do more of that. Success builds on itself, and this helps you build momentum. At the end of the day, all motivation really comes down to self-motivation, and you get better at motivation by building your self-awareness.